Welcome, firstly. I've been around and had a quick catch up with a few people. Appreciate your time. We will blitz 45 minutes. We'll work through quite a lot. I want to try and make this as interactive as possible. So paper, pen, really kind of get some notes going and so on. So I don't want it just to be you sitting listening to me for 45 minutes. You are going to do a little bit of work. You are going to try and be a little bit interactive as best we can. If you want to take part, great. If you want to sit and listen, that's absolutely fine. Who am I? So my name's Chris Sharman. I've been in the industry since 1995. I started off actually in children's activities and progressed all the way through leisure centre management, health club management, into a group role for an Esporta club, or Esporta back in the day. They had 55 clubs and I was their head of retail. So I oversaw fitness, Group X, swimming, children's activities, randomly health and beauty, and rackets as well. I then exited as we sold to Virgin Active and set up a consultancy business supporting people in the sector. Initially a lot with children's fitness and children's sport and activity. More recently, last 5 or 6 years, a lot more on brand and marketing. And I run a company called Topodium Group that has a team of people that has a growth engine, a growth ecosystem where we support with marketing, tech, consultancy, training, and so on. So today we're talking about branding, and that's going to be a big part of what my team does. If anyone wants to, any QR codes I put up in the top, that will normally take you to either a LinkedIn page for me or the business or something like that. So I can also send this presentation to anyone who wants it. So take my email address at the end, message me, and I'll send you a copy of it, save you writing down loads of notes. So, a quick round the room. I've met a few people. There's a few people that have just recently joined. I'd just love to know where you are and where you're from and what you do very quickly. So just so that everyone knows and I know, just quickly introduce yourself. 5 seconds, max.
John from the Fitness Factory in Leicester, and I'm the manager of the gym.
Perfect, thank you.
Paul from the Fitness Factory in Leicester and PT there.
Lovely, thank you, Paul.
Meg from Southampton,
PT Gym in Southampton, thank you. Thank you, Debbie. Perfect, thank you, Ross. I'll go to the back.
Brent, we run a group training studio franchise across 3 countries.
Perfect. Perfect. With him. There you go. Perfect, thank you.
Mark from Bodybuilder Fitness in South Birmingham, Group Fitness and Harrods.
Perfect.
Amy from Very Excited Events, Orange County.
Good, thank you, welcome.
Isabel with Mary, PT and Switzerland.
Lovely, thank you.
JJ from Real Health Club Performance Manager.
Thank you. Perfect, at the front.
Gina from Layered Design, we do gym interior design.
Perfect, thank you.
Matt and Ella, we're educators.
Educators, yes, I know Matt very well. Okay, that helps me. I won't remember all your names, but that was useful just to understand the kind of different types of people, from fitness suppliers through to brands and educators and so on and so forth. So, Topodium Group, I kind of talked a little bit around that, but we're a growth ecosystem, and these are the things that we work within. So we have divisions and service lines where we support businesses in those areas. The main focus for me today is talking with a marketing hat on, and particularly branding. So we've got a team of 12 people that support a number of organisations across the sector, and we specialise in sport, health, wellbeing. So they are the organisations that we work with within that sector. So our team are specialists in this world. So, apologies, the TV's flickering, but I think you'll be fine. So this is what we're going to talk around. So using branding to differentiate your gym business, whether that is a physical facility or whether that is a product or service-based business in a crowded market. We'll also talk around what is branding and the difference between branding and marketing and how they connect and the importance of them. So what I'm hoping to do today with some takeaways for you guys is understand core words, understand your audience, understand your USPs, what you look like, your stylescape, your website, i.e. your shop window to the world, your social media and how that drives engagement. Okay, and hopefully some quick, cost-effective and impactful ways of using some of those topics to level up what you're doing. And that could be to get more members, to increase engagement, to get new customers or clients, or to sell more products, whatever that might be. branding can help you with that when it dovetails into a marketing plan or strategy. Okay? So, branding versus marketing. On your sheet of paper, if you've got one, or the little box on the handout guide, what I'd love you to do is actually write down what you think the difference between branding and marketing is. No right or wrong answers, just what you think and what you understand to be the difference between the two. If you haven't got paper and pen, just write it as notes on your phone, that's absolutely fine. Just something you can return to once you come back. So your view on the difference between branding and marketing. Couple more seconds. And if anyone would like to shout out or give us what they've got, that would be helpful. Anyone would like to volunteer? Okay, branding what people think you are, marketing what you say you are. Hold that thought, I won't give you the answer quite yet. Okay, we're not far off. Anyone else got?
I said branding is like your logo, your voice, and your values, whereas marketing is social media and websites.
Okay, so your logo, your brand, and your identity almost, and your website, so some of the actual doing things is the marketing. Okay, cool. One more?
Branding, how people see you, recognise you.
Yep.
Marketing, how you bring new business.
Okay, all pretty good answers. So, branding is who you are, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Marketing is how you sell your products or services. So you've got the who bit, which comes back to your point around your tone of voice, what you look like, your logo, your identity, and then marketing is how you sell your products. That's the tactical stuff. So going back to someone else said, that's your website, that's your social media, that's your sales campaigns. That's the marketing aspect of what you do. Okay? So very simply, who you are and how you promote your business. Marketing's tactical, branding is more holistic in that respect. That's a very simplistic view. Okay? Pretty easy to understand, and there'll be a lot of people that will challenge different ways around the difference between brand and marketing. But that's a simple way of me going, who you are, how you look. I think someone said what someone thinks about you, and that will come up on a slide in a second, interestingly, versus, let's call tactics, things that help you sell your business, grow your business, drive new members, etc., etc. So your brand is the connection between you and your customers, the visual connection that they have. When people interact with your gym, it's then the branding that can make that experience unique. Anyone can put out a campaign, anyone can have a website, anyone can have a social media presence. It's the look and feel of that that's going to make your brand, your business, your identity stand out over everyone else. Okay, when you combine those two pieces, then you've got a very powerful marketing strategy or marketing and brand strategy. I use this quote a lot, and it comes back to one of your points. Branding is what people say about when you're not in the room. So when your members are at the pub, when your members are out socializing, what they're saying about your gym, oh, I love it there, the people are great, it's always really clean, I love the classes, the receptionists are fantastic. That's your brand. What they're saying about you, their perception of you, or your product, or your service, that's your brand. It's the bit that you don't hear sometimes. And you hope it's positive. And all the things that you do tactically and branding-wise for them to have an opinion or a view. Okay? So I use that a lot and always think that. What do people think about my brand, my business? Because if they're thinking positively, typically it's your branding and the things that sit within that branding portfolio that will drive that. So Your brand's part of all of the customer engagement interactions that you have. So that could be your reception team, your Group X instructor, your swim school teacher. That could be the salesperson that's in the shop selling a particular product. The impression that they give, the way that they engage, is building your brand. A good experience. Take Disney, for example. Everyone talks about the Disney experience. That is ultimately what's been used to build their brand. But it's also the impression that someone gets when you are delivering something via social media or via your website. The look and feel of that, yes, it's a tactic, but if it looks bad, it's impacting on your brand. So you can have anyone can have a website, but I can have a good-looking website that's got great content, that's engaging, or I can just have a simple website with a crappy logo with clip art pictures or whatever that might be. The other element around branding is it's incredibly important to know and understand who it is that is your audience, your customers, who they really are, where they resonate, and where they hang out. Do they use Facebook? Do they use community groups? Are they never on social media, but they're always going to see things at the local library or the community centre? Where do they hang out? And that's really going to be important to help you position your brand to that audience of people that you want to be your potential customers or users. So therefore, identifying that target audience, knowing who they are. I have the business that we have a 100 list, we call it. And they are the 100 organizations that we would love to work with, that resonate with us, that we could go, we know we can make a difference with them. It's no difference to a gym or a training organization or a facility that is bringing in kids' swimming lessons or whatever that might be. Who are you actually targeting? And has anyone ever done that list? We'll do it in a second. Brand is built up with a number of different elements. So these are just some of the things that would make up what I would call a brand strategy. When they all sit together, that is how you are positioning or building a brand from scratch or renewing or reinvigorating an existing brand. So your style guide, what do you visually look like? That normally comes with a stylescape. A stylescape is like a mood board. So if you were to look at this big mood board of all these types of things, that would be your look and feel. So a starting point when we're building out a brand is typically that. You do it when you're building out and decorating your home. You start looking at colors, you start looking at things that you might want. What does it look like? That's your starting point for a brand stylescape. The style guide kind of takes all of that and it structures it. This is how you use the logo. This is the color palette. These are the color tones. This is the font, etc., etc. And then really importantly, you've got this tone of voice. How does your brand speak? And I think we were talking, I think you mentioned earlier about how you want to distance yourself from being the brand that is the gym. So you have a lot of people, particularly startups, independents, that their brand is based around them. I set up a business and I was one-man band for 10 years. So I was the brand. But as I've grown, I want to make sure now that I take a step back and actually the business name is the brand. So how that talks, how that communicates, the language that it has. So Innocent Smoothies, everyone will know the Innocent Group. Very jovial on social media, funny, engaging. That is the tone of voice that that brand has chosen. So your tone of voice for your gym, your facility, your business, your training provider, that is key. What does that actually mean? Because 9 times out of 10 with some of the small organizations we work with, that tone of voice is the individual of the owner, not necessarily the right tone of voice for the audience that is connecting with you as a brand. So those 3 things are key. They are normally driven by your brand mission, vision, and values. Why have you set up the business? Who are you there for? Why are you doing it? What do you stand for? Okay, that underpins that. Then you start to get all of these tactical things that sit above it. Your email templates. So if anyone's a member of David Lloyd, the way that they phrase their emails is very closely connected to their tone of voice. You know it's a David Lloyd email as soon as it comes because of the way that they talk. Email templates, your website, everything down to the gym uniform, the signage, the logo on the front desk, all of that visually is creating an experience and a connection to your brand. Okay? And there's a number of other things as well, but really what I wanted to show was building a brand isn't just a logo. It isn't just a color palette or a couple of photos on a website. There's a whole plethora of things that build up to help you position that brand. Branding, marketing, a lot of people will go, particularly to us as an agency, and go, can you help me understand what return I'm getting from building my brand? And it's a really tough one. Marketing tactics, you can normally go, that drove X number of people to click on my website to buy something or to join. That gives you a return on investment. Branding is much harder to justify, which is why a lot of businesses don't invest quite as much in it, because they can't always justify it. But without a brand, you won't have the impact of some of the marketing tactics and the operationalization of your work into that sector. So, your core, this is all about words. So if you look at Nike, there's a number of words that they want you to associate with the brand. And this will sit within some of the advertising they do, some of the messaging they do, the way that they treat the staff, the way that they build their offices, and so on and so forth. So can anyone think of any words that would you think Nike want you to associate with them? Just do it as their tagline, yeah. Athletic. Sweat. These are the words that they, if you see these words, they want you to connect to their brand. So inspiration, so the athletic side, that high performance piece. Innovation, they want you to think they're always going to be the best pair of trainers, the newest ideas, the newest concepts. Authenticity is a really key word for them that they've used a lot within their marketing and their adverts. Connectivity, particularly going into where we are now with wearables and so on and so forth. And distinctiveness. So they're key words. So the piece now is, what words do you want to associate with your brand? So if they're Nike's words, their whole business is based around you wanting to connect this type of word to their brand. So if you've got a bit of paper, if you can split it into 4, however you want to do it, or just put a little section around core words, I'd like you to think of the words that you would love someone, think Jeff Bezos, if someone was summing up your business, your brand, in 3 or 4 words, what would you want them to be? What would you want them to be saying about your business or brand? 30, 60 seconds, have a think, note it down on your bit of paper, on your phone, whatever that might be. This is then a really good exercise to do with your members to see if they come up with the same words that you want them to. Okay, has anyone got any words they'd like to shout out? Inspiring, thank you. Community, nice. Sustainability, okay. Inclusive. Integrity, nice. Positive. Professional. Atmosphere. Any particular type of atmosphere, or just you're trying to... Love the atmosphere. Yeah. That's it. So then I dig under that atmosphere word and go friendly, lively, energetic, whatever that atmosphere is, they might be the words that help connect with atmosphere. That's nice. Okay, so those key words, use them, refine them. And what I normally say with your team is, go and sit with your team and see if they all come up with the same words that you do. And then go and speak to some members or some customers and go, what words do they have? And a process that we would normally go through is, Once you've got that, you've done an internal kind of look at what these core words would like to be, what your members or customers actually think those words are at the moment, is that will help you refine your core words. And then you can stick to them. And everything you do from a brand perspective, you'd go, is that messaging positive? Is it energetic? Is it professional? Does it have integrity, our messaging? Do our sales campaigns have integrity? All of those things. And it's almost like a sense check to go back to it. Because all the things that you do, if they truly do level back to your core words, that's just helping the consistency with building your brand to the way that you want it to be seen. Does that make sense? Cool. Your audience, this will vary for different people around the room. So we said earlier about the key to any brand, be that a product, a service, a facility, is knowing the audience that you want so that you can target and build your brand that resonates best with that audience. So if your audience is 13 to 17-year-old teenage girls, then your brand look and feel, the energy, the colors, the look and feel of it will be very different to if you are a rehab center for anyone that's got any particular injury or illness from sport, for example, or very different to working with the older population with dementia, for example. Your brand look and feel will be different. So again, same piece for you. Think now about online and offline. Who are your members? Who are your customers? What is your audience? So list down 3, 4, 5, whatever it is. Who is your audience? Who are you trying to get to your business? Now that could be quite generic. Oh, anyone can come and join my gym. That's great. But who's your ideal gym user? Is it students? Is it young professionals? Is it families? Is it the older population? It's okay to be everyone, but if it's everyone, your branding is going to have to be really interestingly built to connect with all of those different audiences. So just list down a few of your core audiences for me on that bit of paper. Okay, anyone shout out one of their audiences?
We'll just say ours is everybody.
Yours is everybody.
We're like an umbrella, so to speak. So we do the health, we've got
Yeah.
stimulation and that's but you're that heart program.
So you've got sub-brands that connect the different audiences. Great, okay. Core audience?
Audience 18 to 35, lifestyle, bodybuilding
1835, lifestyle, bodybuilding
focus.
focus. Nice. That's your core audience. That's not to say you won't attract other people, but your brand is wanting to connect specifically to that audience. Perfect.
Professionals aged 40 to 60 with essential jobs, probably working from home.
Professionals aged 40 to 60 with jobs working from home typically.
Yeah, so essential jobs, so office work.
Essential jobs, okay, perfect. Okay, someone that's not a facility. Matt, you're not a facility.
No, so looking at it slightly different, I would want to work with effectively large operators which want me to mentor their fitness managers.
Okay, large operators that want you to mentor their fitness managers. Okay, that's where your marketing is going to be angled or your brand is going to be built. Anyone else want to throw out someone that's their audience that might be different to what we've talked around? Ex-athletes, okay? So you're going to be targeting sport performance, ex-athletes, people with that mindset, so your brand needs to resonate with them. Perfect. Okay. So once you've got your core words, you've understood what your brand kind of stands for, some of those key pieces. You've then understood who the audience is that you want to attract. The next element of building a brand is what makes you different. So you've got this lovely brand that's resonated with me, but why am I now going to choose you over the other bodybuilding potential brand that might be 5 minutes down the road that also has a nice look and feel? So look now about what makes your business different. So your unique selling point is what? So connected now to those audiences, and maybe you're narrowing on one of your core audiences for this one. Why would I join your gym? Why would I employ you as a trainer? Why would I have you as my accountant? Why would I do whatever it might be connected to your brand? Sell yourself on this. Again, come up with a couple of bullet points and we'll review them. So this piece up here is the pure essence of building whatever brand is to demonstrate an identity of why you're different from your competitors. Your brand helps you do that. It's the reason why people buy a Nike trainer over a non-branded trainer. It's the reason why someone will choose to buy a BMW instead of an Audi, instead of a Ford, or whatever that might be. They're resonating with the brand. That might be because it's price-based, it might be because it's performance-based, but they are connected to that brand. Okay, anyone like to shout a reason why your facility, service, provision, whatever it might be, is unique? Why you? Okay, so you're going to sell me on the basis that it's community-based and I can work out with like-minded people that I'm going to connect with within a community. Perfect. You had your hand up, did you? Sort of, or just having a stretch?
I'm a personal trainer.
Yeah.
I used to be a seasonal chef.
Okay.
I continue for the nutrition plans.
Okay. Yeah. So really enhanced and experienced understanding of nutrition is a reason why I'd come to you, because for whatever reason, whatever my particular personal goal is from building out, my fitness, you're going to have a much better understanding and a deeper knowledge to help impact my nutrition side. Great, perfect. Does your brand currently help you with that in mind? Perfect. Experience. So I'm coming to you, you'd come and mentor my team because you've got experience in the sector, you've been doing it X amount of years, credibility working with X brand, Y brand, whatever it might be. Cool. Anyone else got a unique selling point that they want to shout about? No, it's fine. Your stylescape, I talked about this at the beginning, I'm not going to go into this in huge depth, but your stylescape is this mood board. Okay, and if you haven't got one, I suggest you start to build one out. You're always probably pinning things off social media. I really like the look of that, and that's great. I'd love to have that bit of equipment, and the way that they've lit that room, or that flooring, or whatever. There'll be things that resonate with you as a business owner or a facility manager, or whatever that might be. A stylescape is pulling all of that together and going, that's really what I want my brand to look like. So if I was to look at this big wall of items, that would look like your brand, as it is in your head. Okay? So it's this living, breathing mood board, and it's the basis for how your business looks, both online and offline. So that could be down to the way your changing rooms look, the way that your reception is presented, the way that your website resonates from a visual perspective, the way that your social media looks and is structured and professional and fun or engaging or whatever that might look like. And all of that then is coupled together in a style guide, which gives the basis and the structure for implementing that mood, that stylescape within your business. So if we have a out of order sign on a treadmill, how many times have we seen one handwritten because it's quick, I need to stick it on with blue tack, out of order? If you look at anything within a Disney park that's not working, they've got really nice, branded, clever, sometimes jovial ways of going, this is broken, we're working on it, it'll be back open soon, something along those lines. Have a look at all the different aspects around how a style guide dictates certain behaviors within what you do within your business. Okay, part one done. What I'd love everyone to do, if you can, is write down at least one action that you think this first kind of part of the session is going to help you to go and implement. One thing you've gone, I really could do with doing that, or I could have a look at that, or I could change that. I call them golden nuggets. Is there something, hopefully, this is where it puts me under pressure, that you've gone, actually from that first section, I need to implement that, an action that you're going to weigh. You might have more than one, hopefully you've got at least one. You might have none, in which case I've got to work a bit harder. Okay, anyone like to openly let me know of one of the actions they think they're going to walk away with from that first little piece? You're going to ask your clients about the words they associate with your business stroke brand. Brilliant. Did you ever?
I was going to say so.
There we are, cool.
Implement more language into our marketing strategy so that people see our brand image as the words that we want them to see it as.
Perfect. So that tone of voice. And there's some really good examples out there of, and if you Google branding tone of voice, you can see some structures of way to do that. You know, and one of the best ways I've seen is don't say this, say that. So when you're trying to implement a tone of voice across a business, give an example of what you could say, what might be normal, and then, but this is how we say it. So they can compare and contrast that. It's a really good way of helping embed that tone of voice across different people that might be writing content or putting social media messaging out there, particularly in gyms where you've got a lot of personal trainers that are posting on behalf of that gym. Some little things. If you're saying about this, try using these words. Anyone else got any actions they'd like to share?
Same as that, making sure that like the Facebook replies, Insta replies, the text and emails, the outgoings all the same tone of voice.
Yeah, consistency in tone of voice. And that's typically where you'll find the bigger you become, the more people involved in helping out, particularly from a marketing perspective, the harder it is to get that consistency. So I was doing a similar seminar in the US around large soccer clubs, and they have so many team managers that are running multiple ages, and they're all posting stuff on social media, and it was doing a workshop to try and get them in to a consistent tone of voice. So it could be a simple workshop, but you've got some guidelines to help with people. Okay, so this next piece, 5-10 minutes or so, and I'll try run through this a little bit quicker, otherwise we'll run out of time and I'll get kicked off. How some of your branding then implements what I would call some of your tactical work. So your website is a tactic for engaging, driving, bringing people to your business. So it's typically the first place that an individual will find you, potentially alongside social media. And as we all know, you've normally got one chance of getting that first impression right, and your website is typically one of the first examples that they will have that resonates them with your brand. So what is your website for? If you have time, I would really like to see you go away and build a list of why have the website? What's the purpose of your website? What is it actually doing for you? Are you having a website because everyone says you've got to have a website? Or do you have a website because it particularly focuses on helping with one part of your marketing? So that could be showcasing your strong brand or image. That could be helping you attract new members. It could be improving communication to existing customers, giving them information, sharing content, and so on and so forth. We want it to add value to existing members. And hopefully your website saves time and money. What I mean by that is if you've got a facility, but you've got a website that's really engaging and has lots of updates and it's kept up to date with news and information, rather than calling reception or asking questions or messaging on social media, when do you open that? When's that class on? What times do you open? It can save a lot of time and effort with people that are asking questions that your website can helpfully support them with. Does your website have an e-commerce platform? Are you selling nutrition plans? Are you selling merchandise? Is it where you buy your crash vouchers? What is the purpose of your website? And how does that connect back to the brand? If your brand is all about being inclusive, does it mean that I can go on there and get access to everything that I need and it's really simple and effective? So a study showed that 75% of people develop a credibility, whether that be positive or negative, of an organisation based on their website. So we go back to, you can have this lovely brand, you can build it all out, but if your website isn't a representation of your brand, what they're saying is 75% of people will go, not interested in the brand just because the website is crap, or it looks bad, or it doesn't resonate with me at the same level that the brand does. Of that 75%, 88% won't even consider you again, they'll just go straight to a second option. That's the importance of the first impression that your website gives. So when I go onto your landing page, and we call it above the fold, the first bit that I see before I scroll down, has that impacted me enough to resonate with your brand, or am I switched off straight away? That's a really tough call for a design team to come up with and get all of those core words, your unique messages, your audience, resonate with them in what is that? The top of fold of your website. But if you can do that, we know that 75% of people will have credibility with your brand straight away. Super important. As we know, more and more people are opting for the internet. First option, therefore, if you do not appear on a website, you don't exist. And I think I'm probably teaching you to suck eggs on that. That's common knowledge. Having a website is vital. If you can't compete with a website and your website doesn't function like your competitors do, then you will not win that race, simply put. So your website, as we all know, I think everyone knows, is absolutely key. But the branding connected to that, the look and feel of it, resonating back to those core words, the audience that you're trying to target, the USPs that you have, that's what you want your website to be shining through. When I go on your website, I want that to hit me in the face, because that's what's going to resonate with me and connect me to be a customer or a member or buy something from you. There's a whole load, there's 14 things up there of things that I would say you should be focusing on when looking at your website. Again, I'll share this with you. You can go through it in your own time. Everything from the analytics, who's going on it. We are working with a site at the moment that has 750 pages on their website. Only 7 of them have been used really by 80%, 85% of traffic is only going 7 of those 750 pages. But they just keep building and building and building, adding more, adding more, adding more, slowing down the journey, the user experience, etc., etc. Analytics will help you. All sorts of different things. Where I will try is run through these 4 things very quickly for you. So have a plan. Start by mapping out your customer journey. If I'm going onto your website, what do you want that journey to be? Get into the mindset of your ideal customer, that audience that you've just written down. That's the person that you want to resonate with. And help map out that journey all the way through. Think about the pages you want them to view, the content that you want them to read and connect with, and then for the messages that you want them to absorb. Once you've identified that, map out the emotions you want them to connect with that part of content. Do I want to engage in a way that I know, yeah, my food, my eating is shocking, I could really benefit from that. Emotionally, I'm going to connect because there's a need for me, and that website has given me that impact that I need emotionally. Understanding all of that will help you direct and design the best looking website with the best imagery, with the best messaging. All resonates and connects back to your brand. Next, ensure everything's up to date. It sounds so obvious, but I've spoken to so many people that go, yeah, I haven't looked at the website for a while and that bit of information's out of date and so on. If you've got out of date website information and I go on it and I'm looking at your brand, what's my impression of your brand? Oh, you're advertising last year's events. Oh, slapdash, not professional, don't have time for it, I don't know. But someone will have it, and you'll see it. You'll have an impression of someone's website. You click on their social media, they haven't put a post up for 4 months. Okay, that's not the impression that typically you're going to want connected to those 7 words. The whole, what does someone say when you're not in the room? Other things with that, missing links, hyperlinks don't work. You know, a website, if you keep it small and concise, it's not difficult to keep on top of. That soccer organisation that I said 750 pages, so much of that was out of date. It's not feasible to manage 750 pages, keep it all up to date, keep it looking smart and relevant. Optimize for mobile. There is a term now where you will typically build mobile first. So 80% of internet usage is connected to a smartphone device. And Google has highlighted that 61% of users are unlikely to return to a mobile site if they had trouble accessing it. And that could be simply the case that you've got this amazing video on your website, but it's so consuming to load on a mobile, I'm just not going to see it. And I'm going to switch off straight away. So optimizing your content on the website, and that could be that your full website on the computer has a lovely video of your business that shows. But the mobile version is a great photo because it comes up straight away. My experience of your mobile-friendly website is very different. A mobile optimized site reformat. So we've got so many different phone sizes, tablet sizes, etc., etc. If you build your website mobile optimized, it doesn't matter what screen size I'm using, it will optimize to that. And then it will also build it for a website, so for a laptop or a web browser. A lot of you will want to try not to spend much on paid advertising, on Google search and so on and so forth. Therefore, you want to make sure that you are organically top of Google search or Bing search or the others that sit out there. Google's algorithm will not rank you as high if your site is not optimized for mobile. Just won't do it. So if you're not optimizing your site, you haven't built it mobile first, and it doesn't resonate with the different screen sizes of phones and tablets, Google will penalize you for that and will only get you so far organically. Therefore, you'll have to spend a lot more paid advertising to be top of the sponsored links on Google and to rank higher in that respect. So optimizing doesn't just improve the user experience, but it's a much more cost-effective way of organically driving traffic to your website. I think the final one is around adding new content. Does your site have a blog? Does it need a blog? Does it have really useful information? Is it giving me information around nutrition? Is it giving me information around the types of products and services that you deliver? Is it telling me when swim school season starts and how much it's going to cost? Are there lots of stories around testimonials? Are there some great things of videos around what you're doing and the engagement you're having within your community? You as gym owners typically have such a rich content of information that you can gather, things that are going on within your facilities, great video content, photo content, stories, so much stuff. Can you use that? Can you keep that updated? Can you keep it fresh? Can you give me a reason to keep coming back to your website to read the latest article, the latest update from a personal trainer, the latest tips on what I can be eating on a Saturday night that's a little bit healthier than going out and having pizza, whatever that looks like. So website we've looked at, conscious of time, social media. I think you know and understand this, but your social media will improve the aesthetic of your gym brand. It will increase awareness, generate greater engagement, increase followers, improve retention, and help you create that community. But again, it's got to look connected to your website, connected to your facility, connected to those core words. So again, one thing I would advise looking at when you go back and start looking at your social media, am I getting the same connectivity with my brand in social as I am on my website, as I am in my physical environment? Do they all seamlessly sit together? Go back to that mood board. Would all your social media posts, if you threw them up on that mood board, fit in? Or would a few of them look out of place? Oh, I don't know why that looks like that, and that's not what, those types of things. Typically, that happens when you've got a lot of people adding stories on social media, building out posts and so on, because they necessarily haven't got the guidelines or the templates to work with. There's a load of networks. Go back to your audience. Where does your audience resonate? So if you're looking at 40 plus, they're probably not going to be on TikTok, with all due respect to them. So don't waste time on TikTok. If they're more corporate based, they're going to be on LinkedIn. So spend your time building up the brand, the look and feel on LinkedIn. Am I being kicked off? Have I got my 2-minute warning? 5-minute warning. Oh, there we go. Time for Q&A. Brilliant. For me though, on social, always think consistency. It's always about always showing up. I see so many brands that go, oh yeah, I've got some time. I'm going to blitz it for a week, and then I get busy and I forget about it. And 2 weeks later I go back, oh shit, I've got to do a bit more and I blitz it again. Okay, there are some great tools to help you schedule all across the platforms. And if you haven't got access to one, on your chairs, if you're an independent gym member or you just email me, I can give you 60 days of that. It's one of our software solutions to schedule all of your social media at really low cost. And it schedules all of those social media networks as well, including blog posts. Okay, but always show up, be consistent, and make sure you don't go AWOL. Because if you go AWOL, your members are going to go, well, I'm not going to see that anymore. And actually, if I'm not connecting with your content, it's not going to show up on social media anymore as regularly. You'll see on Instagram, the more things you like, the more things you see from that particular brand. You don't like, you don't see it, it doesn't resonate, it doesn't come top of the list anymore. So always showing up, that consistency is absolutely key. Before we do Q&A, any other actions, start to write those down. Anything that you think you can take away and go, what would I do with my website? What would I do with social media? Are there any improvements I can make? What are my actions? In the 5 minutes we've got left, we'll do Q&A. If anyone wants to connect with me, I believe that one is my LinkedIn. If you take a picture of it, it will take you there. That will take us to the Topodium Group LinkedIn. That goes somewhere, don't know. Something of note. Either way, connect with me. I can share the deck with you. If you need a hand with anything, you've got any questions, we've got 4 minutes. Can I help with any questions? Has anyone got any thoughts connected to what I've said?
Obviously, our market is sort of 40 to 60-year-old professionals.
Yeah.
On LinkedIn. I've never tried marketing ourselves on LinkedIn now, and I'm not sure how I would go about that.
Okay.
Because I don't know much about it.
So LinkedIn B2B, so if you are 46-year-olds that are in particular jobs, you can target based on their profession and their location. So you can do...
No, it's not B2B, it's kind of B2C.
Yeah, you've got to establish whether that 40 to 6-year-old is likely to have a LinkedIn profile as an individual. If they are, and that would be interesting for you to do that piece with some of your existing members, how many of you do have a LinkedIn profile? Yeah, great. Why don't you follow our LinkedIn page? Then you can start to gauge how many people are there, and then you can start to do targeted ads connected to like-minded people within Southampton that have jobs within this sector, this sector, this sector. So LinkedIn is slightly more expensive for paid advertising than Facebook and Google, but an awful lot more targeted. So there's definitely a LinkedIn campaign if you believe your audience have a LinkedIn profile. Yeah, and that might be set up a LinkedIn page, put a few things around the club. If you're on LinkedIn, why don't you follow us? See how many people follow, start to learn the lessons from there. Any other questions? Was that just a deep breath in, or was that deep breath in? Just checking. Oh, it might be. Come and stand right next to it if you need to. Any other questions? Was that helpful? Did that? I always go, has everyone gone away with at least one golden nugget that they're going to go, yeah, that was helpful? Because if I've done that, then I think I've succeeded. So appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. I will hang around, happily have a catch up with anyone. If anyone wants to grab the little stack of leaflets, Topodium Group is my business. The social media platform I talked around is to post. There's normally a 30-day trial, but for anyone from independent gyms, you get 60 days free. And if anyone operates with children's activities in their business, that's our sub-brand, which is my background is kids' activities. So reach out, say hello, connect on LinkedIn, email me or message me on LinkedIn. I can send you that presentation as well. All right? Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.